big story with Division is already up in the air. We'll also check out what's happening with Liv Morgan, Stephanie, and more. Starting things off with everything related to the Vision. It's no secret that times have been pretty rough for the Vision. What started off as a promising group full of so many potential breakout stars has now been diminished due to injuries, and only Logan Paul and Austin Theory remain active. So it's a rough stretch for them right now, but Austin Theory and Logan Paul are trying their best to keep the Vision on top and keep their group relevant. Paul Heyman's recent advice for them was that the Vision needs championship gold, and how that would make the group relevant again and make them even more respected. And Austin Theory and Logan Paul do have a tag team titles opportunity coming up against Jimmy and Jay, so that's a prime opportunity for them to win championship gold and do exactly what Paul Heyman said to do. And like we mentioned earlier in the week, Austin Theory and Logan Paul do have a legitimate shot of taking those tag titles away from Jimmy and Jay, because Jimmy and Jay are just not focused right now at all. Jimmy and Jay are too involved with everything happening with Roman Reigns and CM Punk, and they're so distracted at the moment. They're paying attention to other things and really taking their minds off of their tag team titles. Jay quite literally said on Raw that the tag team titles weren't on his mind because he was confronting CM Punk and being so passionate about everything happening there. So they're laying it on pretty thick that Jimmy and Jay are on two completely separate pages. Jay's mindset is on crash out mode again, and they're just completely mentally separated at the moment, making it seem like they most definitely could be had right now, and someone can easily take those tag team titles from them due to all these issues and distractions that's surrounding them at the moment. So that's what really makes it seem like Austin Theory and Logan Paul really do have a strong chance at winning those tag team titles in the very near future. And that would be a big first time thing for the Vision. The group has never held the tag team titles. The Bronze were always dominant as a duo during the early days of the Vision, but not even that pairing ever brought back the tag team titles to the Vision. So Logan and Austin would be the first duo to bring those titles into the group. And Austin Theory and Logan Paul winning those titles could be the start of everything starting to turn around again for the Vision. The Vision has been on such an incredible strain of bad luck in recent months. Non-stop losses, injuries, and other obstacles always getting in their way. So this tag titles victory from Austin and Logan may be what the group needs to turn their luck around. And there continues to be a lot of positive discussions and rumors about Braun Breaker coming back much sooner than originally expected. So that's another plus right there, and another sign that things are starting to turn around for the Vision. If the Vision gets hold of the tag team titles, and now you got Braun Breaker coming back as well, the momentum is really going to start stacking for the group. Another matter involving the Vision that fans are wondering about is the angle that was first teased on March 16th, when Austin Theory was seen talking to Maxxine backstage. That was something that hyped a lot of fans up because they were very curious to see where it leads towards. Maxxine has broken through in recent months and won the Women's Intercontinental title, but she's been struggling a lot lately with handling Natty. She just can't seem to get over that hump of bypassing Natty and defeating her. So the conversation that they showed between Austin Theory and Maxxine is interesting because it had fans wondering if they would have Maxxine join the Vision to find that new edge in herself. Maxxine technically was a heel back in her days of first leading the Maximum Male Models group, but that was more of a comedic heel role. It wasn't really a serious heel role that had a serious edge to it. So if Maxxine joins the Vision, maybe that would allow us to see what heel Maxxine truly looks like for the very first time. Joining the Vision would get rid of Maxxine's weaknesses and friendliness, and leave her with nothing but newly found aggression, and really focus her on what's important. So it was something very interesting that was being teased there with the concept of Maxxine potentially being recruited by the Vision. But the reason why so many fans were talking about this angle this week was because the March 23rd edition of Raw featured absolutely zero follow-up for Austin Theory and Maxxine's backstage conversation from the week prior. So now that has fans wondering if the Maxxine and Vision storyline has already been scrapped and put on the back burner, because how can you reveal a new storyline direction and not follow it up in any way at all the following week? That is pretty concerning, because look at what they recently did with Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill had a backstage segment where she was seen speaking with B-Fab and leaving the arena with her, and that was amazingly followed up the following week by Jade Cargill revealing her alliance with B-Fab and Mia Yim. So nice consistent back-to-back weeks there of that angle advancing and progressing. So fans understandably expected to see a second segment between Austin Theory and Maxxine on March 23rd to progress what was introduced on March 16th but we did not see them interact at all this week. So that is fans already deeply concerned if the Maxxine and Vision storyline direction has already been scrapped and cancelled. Knowing this regime and how they operate by now, this can really mean one of two things. The Maxxine and Vision storyline will go completely radio silent for several weeks, maybe even months, but has a chance to get randomly revived deep into the future when you least expect it. And option 2 is that the storyline has been completely dropped and they'll act like they never even showed us Austin Theory and Maxxine talking to each other. It's literally one of those two options right there. So for now, it seems like the Maxxine and Vision storyline is already in limbo after just week number 2. But we'll have to see what the future holds for the group and if they do ever revisit what was hinted at there with Maxxine. When it comes to both women's world title matches at WrestleMania, Liv Morgan and Stephanie's program has been much deeper and has had more of a rich story than Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley. Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley's recent promo segments have just felt a bit off lately. It feels like they've been talking about a whole bunch of nothing, and there's not really any real meat or substance there at the heart of their conversations with each other. But with Liv and Stephanie, there is substance there to their feud and conversations with each other. Liv and Stephanie have put a lot of great emphasis on the topic of how they both feel like the other wouldn't last a day in their shoes. Stephanie criticized Liv Morgan for having a sweet and easy ride to her pro wrestling career. Stephanie said that Liv never had to travel the world and struggle to climb up the pro wrestling ladder. Stephanie pointed out how Liv just signed with WWE from day one and always had the best staff, best gym, and best of everything right there for her without struggling for it. Stephanie feels like Liv Morgan would have never made it through the journey she had to go through to get to where she's at today. But Liv Morgan flipped that same script on Stephanie. Liv pointed out how she did have to struggle and grind within WWE, and she fought hard within the company for 12 years to make it to the current position she's at right now. Liv has argued in recent weeks that Stephanie would have never been able to survive in her shoes of her entire WWE journey. Liv flat out said in a recent interview that if their roles were flipped, that Stephanie would have never lasted 12 years in the company and would have been let go by the company along the way. That Stephanie would have never been able to climb up the way she did. So it's a great story between both women. They both have great points, and their journeys mirror each other in different but still similar ways. Liv struggled for over a decade within WWE, trying to make a name for herself and climb up the rankings. Stephanie struggled for over a decade outside of WWE, trying to make a name for herself on the outside. So you got two women that have been grinding over the last 10 plus years, and now they go head to head at WrestleMania to see who's truly better and who's truly deserving of the women's world title, which is a simple but still very effective and great storyline. It's unfortunate that Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley don't have a rich story for their WrestleMania program, because that's a big matchup on paper, but their actual story with each other has been extremely underwhelming, and with WrestleMania quickly approaching, they're running out of time to deepen that storyline. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.